and gentlemen, boys and girls, donuts and munchkins, we are back for another episode of Eat the Donut. Yet again, we have another special guest today. Probably one of the funniest, most real, most authentic individuals I've ever met. And you just never meet someone who's so authentic and down to earth like this. And it's why my wife Shannon and I are absolutely obsessed with this individual. But Jenna, what is going on? Welcome to the
Oh,
podcast.
that was an amazing introduction. I've never heard those words come out of your mouth about me, so thank you, Kevin.
Maybe I should say it more often in front of
I
you
mean,
rather than
no,
wait for the podcast.
no, just in front of the podcast. Other than that, we have beef with each other
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah. Actually, fuck this girl.
Fuck this guy. I don't even know what here.
No, it's so true though. Like when you're posting on social media, just being yourself, being goofy and whatnot, Shannon will come over to me and just be like, I fucking love Jenna. Like she is just the best and the coolest human. Even like when we hang out, like we were hanging out a little bit last week at the gym
Mhm.
and just laughing at how just like you're you
Ridiculous.
and you're you 100%. And I think that's why people in freaking San Diego love you. That's why you're so popular. I feel honored to be interviewing you right now.
Oh my God, stop, Kevin. No need for the hype. Thank you. I love just being silly. And I feel like on social media, some people are so it's so easy to paint this picture of yourself. And so if I can post something silly on social media that's not inappropriate, I'm gonna post it.
Hell
So
yeah.
thank you.
Sometimes even if it's a little
Just
inappropriate, that's
just
okay.
a touch of inappropriate is perfect. You gotta keep the people guessing and intrigued, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even talking about social media, it's so nice to see that side though, because I don't know what the percentage is, probably like 95% plus people are just posting highlight reels
Right.
and not their full selves. Like we're seeing like either the, sexy photos of like you just see everyone's butt cheeks and whatnot, or the
Love that.
flexing guys and whatnot. But like people on social media are humans. Like let's show the human side as well.
Right. Like we love like a double, maybe triple, maybe quadruple chin picture.
Yes, I love those are the best.
Like from the down shot. Yeah, we got to keep it real out here. Nothing is worse than meeting someone, seeing their social media, and then meeting them in person, and you're like, oh wait, how is that? How is that you? It's just like you don't want to be catfished. Just like be
Yeah.
yourself. You're also really good at that. I love when you post your videos of you with the wig on, the
Hell
blonde
yeah.
wig.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love those. My favorite videos. So I same for you, Kevin.
I appreciate it. And I mean, maybe it's even in like our area, Pacific Beach or just San Diego in general. It's like funny to see. I talk about this a lot on the podcast, but like individuals I work with are very much on the side of like improving their relationship with food and being overweight because they do maybe have a poor relationship with food. So we're trying to heal that, trying to fix that, trying to create a foundation and systems that work for them. But sometimes I feel like we see here because San Diego is a very active area, like a lot of beautiful, fit people. But I also feel like sometimes we see the other side of the spectrum where these people are really fit, but also maybe don't have the greatest relationship with food. So, you know, the name of the podcast, Eat the Donut, right? I tell people, eat the donut, like enjoy life, eat the donut, move on in life. The people I work with tend to eat the donut and be like, fuck, I ruined all my progress. So might as well have 12 more.
Totally.
I feel like sometimes we see here is let's eat the donut, but now I gotta go hit the Stairmaster for 2 hours to burn it off.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting just living here for the past 3 years. I'm not saying that's everyone, but it's just interesting to see the other side of the spectrum where I always feel like the answer is somewhere in the middle, like just eat the donut and move on in life. Is that something you've noticed at all, or maybe
Like
not?
with my clients or with my friends or like just in general.
Just in general, just with the environment of San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, I like you said, I feel like San Diego has a little bit of everything. You have the people who are obsessed with their fitness,
Hmm.
and I think definitely take it too far, but do they look great? Yeah, but how's their mental? Like that's the thing you're kind of sacrificing,
Yeah.
like you're saying, like just eat the fucking donut, move on. It's all
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
and then also I think there are people who are on the other side
Sure.
that just don't give a shit, but have amazing bodies because it's
I
genetics.
hate those people.
I also hate those people, but I know quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Um, And I try to tell him, yo, God loves you. You look beautiful now, but like give yourself 20, 15 years when your metabolism starts slowing down and you're going to be absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Be a bag of bones.
Yeah. It all catches up at some point. It all catches up at some
Uh,
point.
it does. So that's why we're ahead of the game because it's already part of our day-to-day life.
Yeah, for sure. But it is tough, like to be in that almost trapped mindset
Yeah,
because it's really something's weighing you down and trapped
totally.
inside your head, which sucks. I made a tweet the other day where I say, yes, the fat loss is the goal, but it's really fat loss to ideally also have freedom too, to not really have all that weight of whether it's obsessiveness with, trying to go to the gym 3 times a day or not being trapped of feeling guilty and shame of eating the donut. But anyways, let's actually tell the people a little bit more about who Jenna is. Who are you? Which is a
Broadly,
very open-ended question, but
hard question. Very hard question. I like to say, well, I love fitness. I could never sit behind a desk in college. And just I knew that with the person I was, I could never sit behind a desk. So I'm obsessed with health and nutrition. So I was like, you know what, let's do this. So I've taught about every type of group class you can teach. And then a lot of experience with personal training and nutrition coaching, like Kevin.
yeah.
And like Kevin, it's so important to make it fun. It's so important to make working out enjoyable. If you don't like that style of workout, cool, let's find a different one that you
Mhm.
like. Kind of going back to your whole mindset and like just freedom and just to enjoy life. You need to choose things that make you happy. And some people are like, oh, I don't like any types of fitness. Like none of that makes me happy. But I don't think that's true. I think that they just have these walls built up in their head. But I think that some sort of any type of fitness makes some people happy.
For
So,
sure.
so I just feel like I'm just a cheerleader for fitness, and it's been fun. In the last 5 years, I feel like I've really mastered nutrition just through personal experience, and then also experimenting with my clients. Experimenting with my clients like they're rats,
They're all an experiment.
you know. But it's like it's been fun to see like different body types, like the women
Yeah.
or the men over 40 years old. You know how everyone is so different, and it's not
Mhm.
really just like a one fits all. Like you really have to work with someone to like see their circumstances and trial and error and like really see what works with people. And lately, like that has just really been hyping me up in my career. I just fitness everything. I also love to cook. So like
Mhm.
that's a really huge thing. I love giving people's new recipes and high protein desserts and all that fun stuff. All
Yeah,
that.
for sure. I love it. A couple of great points made there is I always say like the number one rule when it comes to training is I don't give a fuck what you do, just do something. Like at the end of the day, just do something. Yes, I'm gonna say, yeah, there's optimal things to do as far as building muscle, or if you have this goal in mind of creating this toner, leaner look, like, yeah, I want you to probably strength train, but at the end of the day, the first priority is health. Like try to make yourself live as long as possible with the
Yeah,
longest quality life as possible. So if you doing, this group class or this other thing, whatever it may be, allows you to be consistent and it actually takes care of your health, perfect. Let's roll with that. And for the individuals who like don't like to do anything, they really truly maybe hate fitness. That's maybe when like the tough love comes in and like, all right, just do the thing you hate the least then. Like do something. We can't just sit on the couch all day.
right. For the love
But
of God, go for a walk or something
yes,
like that,
simply going for a walk.
please.
Um, but the one point you made that I love is it's not a one size fits all program. Like you figuring out your health, it's truly a recipe we're trying to create. If you put a recipe together, and I like to think of it as like, hey, nutrition, exercise, daily movement, we can even talk about sleep, stress management, all that stuff. We had to figure out what works for you as far as do we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a lot of this, a little bit of that,
Right.
and what tastes good for you, what feels good for you. Because if you're putting a dish together, if you put, let's say, too much salt, it might taste like shit. It might not taste all that great. So it's like, hey, we need to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now this tastes good. Now this feels good. Now this is sustainable for the long run. And there's always these principles. Yes, there's principles we want to hit. Like if we get nerdy about it, the science of it, all right, we need calorie management, we need protein, we do need sleep. But how we get you into those things, the principles, that's going to be possibly different for everyone. Like some
Literally.
people might have some similarities,
Mhm.
but that's why I think individualized coaching, that's why I think we do a lot of one-on-one coaching
Right.
can be very important. And not to say group coaching, like people can't learn things from that, but if you've been struggling with this for probably decades at this point, you just might need a little bit more of a system or a foundation that is guided towards you and your lifestyle. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to almost put fitness into your life, not the other way around.
Totally, totally. The group stuff is good. Like obviously there's general recommendations for everybody. High
Hmm.
protein, slight calorie deficit. Like
Hmm.
all those things are gonna help everyone reach their goals. But like you said, especially with like women and their hormones and then like what
Yeah.
life you're in, like what your day job is. Are you sitting down? Are you standing up? Like all these little things will you can only get to a certain point until you actually have to start considering all these little things. And then
Hmm.
like that's where the one-on-one coaching really comes in. And
Yeah.
it's a lot on our part. Like I feel like a lot of people underestimate how much work your one-on-one coach does for you. It's
Yeah.
not only the accountability, it's making sure they're sticking to it, it's making sure they're enjoying it, but then also like when you have to take those turns, being
Hmm.
able to like make an educated decision about when to make that turn. So there's a lot going on for us that like people may not realize, but like we literally give you all of our knowledge
Yeah.
like as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's because we have to think about it, from our standpoint too of, we're trying to teach them, it's the cheesy quote, we're trying to teach them how to fish versus give them a fish. But there's like strategizing to that we're thinking, hey, do we take, a little bit of a break here just to maintain, like, so they don't burn out all these things? Try that. Obviously, then you got to explain it, sell it on them. They might be making progress for like 3 or 4 months and they want to keep going, but like, hey, also, we recognize we're overlooking your data from past experiences. When you keep going, you eventually burn off and then you're off track for 3 months. So let's actually take a little break, build some momentum, and then go crush the next 3 months after that. So a
Sounds
lot of
like you're
great,
a therapist.
that's legit. Not a definitely certified therapist, but there's definitely some therapeutic components. And that's a lot of it too, right? I'll be honest. I think a lot of it is one, yes, the strategizing, the game planning, and our knowledge. But most of it is probably our accountability. It's when you get off track and you're like, Jenna, I ate, a box of pizza the other day. Hey, take a breath. It's okay. And we get them right back on track as soon as possible versus letting them spiral for, days on end.
Right.
But another question for you is like, how did your fitness and health journey begin yourself? Like, how did you get into all this?
Yeah, great question. Well, my dad is a health teacher. He's a high school health teacher, and he's
Your
also
dad is jacked, by the way.
my dad's Jack. My dad's 60. He's has a six pack, can do like 100 pull-ups. Like he's wild. But
Yeah,
since we were little, he has always just been a health nut. Like before the fads would come out, he would already like be telling us like 5 years before. So I
cool.
just grew up around that a lot and associated that with being happy and healthy. And my dad is honestly one of the happiest people I've ever met. Um, and so, I was like, I want to be like that. And also just like seeing him helping everyone around him, my family, his students, I just was like, this is what I need to do as well.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
love it.
yeah, in college, I got into weightlifting in college. I used to run all the time and I figured out that, doesn't really do much for you. I started weightlifting and then I was like, oh
Hmm.
my God, like I actually look the way I want to look. That's another point I wanted to talk about with you. Um, Now that I'm saying all this, one thing that's very interesting that I'm kind of changing my outlook on is I think when it comes to balance, let's say someone's starting here, they're starting at this point and they want to get to this point, right?
Hmm.
From this point to this point, you might really have to be careful about what you're eating. You're going to have to eat in a calorie deficit. Like you're going to have to be on top of your working out and your programming and your schedule and all of that.
Hmm.
Once you get to that point, I kind of feel like you can have a little bit more balance. Yes, you can have a donut. Yes, you can have a piece of pizza. You can be a little bit more intuitive about eating as long as you don't go overboard. Because once you got to that point, it's way easier to maintain it than it
Hmm.
was to get to that point in the first place.
Yeah.
So for people who are like, oh, how do you just like, how are you okay with eating this whole burrito? Or like, how are you okay with eating ice cream? Right? It's like, okay, I'm already happy with where I'm at. So now to stay here, it's way less work than it took to
Hmm.
get. So that's where the balance really comes into play. As long as you stay consistent about working out, you can
Yeah.
start enjoying things a little bit more. But the hard part is getting to that part,
Yes, for sure. I
right?
hate to use the word earn, but sometimes that comes to mind. It's like we almost have to earn our
Right.
right? And I think with a lot of areas in our life, we have to go through moments of unbalance to get to a point of balance,
That's
right?
right.
And I don't even think it's necessarily like a balance of like I think a balance of like 50-50, but I think it's more of like a harmony of it all.
Right.
So we go back to that recipe analogy. It's all right, we need to find a way to, obviously, again, take a look at the data of what you're doing currently. Like, what are your biggest struggles? Why are you over consuming? What's causing that? Is it like a lack of knowledge? Is it a habit-based thing, a behavior thing, emotional thing? Like, what's going on there? And then let's like, all right, let's fix that. But at the end of the day, it's, depending on your lifestyle, is there going to be more of an emphasis on your nutrition? Is it going to be more like daily movement? Is it going to be more, exercise strength training? Like, what do we need to pay attention to a little bit more? Because a lot of times when like taking on someone, we might have 5 or 6 areas we need to address, but they might be doing good in like 2 or 3 of them. Like they might be crushing their steps. They might be getting 8,000, 10,000 steps a day, or they might be getting 1,000 steps a day. So like an easy way to get momentum going is like, hey, let's increase that to 4 or 5,000. Like that's more daily activity for you. We're going to burn more calories. Ideally, if we keep everything else the same, progress is going to happen. And then obviously we added a layer of nutrition and whatnot. But again, we're trying to figure out the best way for you to do these things and one, be consistent with it, make it sustainable to your lifestyle. But you're right, like find that balance of enjoying life as well. Like go to your kid's birthday party and like have the fucking slice of cake. Don't overthink it. Like enjoy it. We don't need to have the whole cake, but have a slice of cake. Like enjoy it. And then we're sort of back on track. What do you feel is something that a lot of people get wrong, or like the biggest thing, or maybe one thing a lot of people get wrong when they're trying to lose weight or improve their health?
Well, I'm definitely biased in this answer because
Sure.
I work at a very intense group fitness gym called the Yard Gym, and
Shout
one thing
out.
that I see, which is not that common, is people overdoing it. Like people working out hard 6 days a week
Mm-hmm.
and really restricting what they're eating. And what people don't understand is that that actually fucks up your whole metabolism, and then your body is less likely to use fat as energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's all backwards. So I'm biased because I'm around that all the time.
Sure.
But I think if I'm not around all that time, something else that I think that people get wrong, specifically women, is that like weightlifting is going to make you bulky. Like
Yeah.
I lift as heavy as I can and look at my arm. Is this bulky? No, it's toned, right? But it's not bulky. And
Sure.
so like there's just so many stigmas around that that is are just such bullshit. Like if you want to look bulky, you have to like power lift. And
Yeah.
trust me, the common person has no idea how to lift like that.
Sure.
So that really bugs me. Another thing that really bugs me is that carbs are bad, you know?
Yeah.
Carbs are not bad at all.
Yeah.
But when you eat processed carbs, that's what's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say those are the three things that I feel like people just don't understand.
Yeah, and it's funny talking about like the whole bulky thing because I even think about it from a male perspective is look at all the men who are trying to like from America's standpoint. Again, we're in a very fit community, but like if
Right.
we think about the world as a whole, the people who've been lifting and strength training for years, again, even decades, not even women, but men who are still not all that bulky, and they've
Right.
been doing it for a while.
Mhm.
Um, I always make the joke, if you're worried about getting bulky, or the people you see who are getting bulky, they're probably taking something more than just mom's milk and cookies. And it's like even for me, like I'm very okay with my muscle size. Like I think I caught a time of my life where I was on my free steroid ever, started to train when I was like 18 and everything. So
Right.
testosterone's high, I took advantage of that. But I mean, over the last decade, I think I've been trying to put on muscle, but I've stayed exactly the same. Like it's just one of those things where I think for general population too, and I say this politely, you're probably not going to work that hard either. And that's okay. Doesn't mean you're not going to get tone or great results, but the attention to detail, like if we look at like the CrossFitters, like the female CrossFitters, yes, they probably are a little bit more bulky, but how dialed they are in with their training, like
Mhm.
never miss a workout probably for years on end, super consistent with their nutrition, like haven't missed their protein target for years on end.
Right.
And, we talk about finding balance. They don't have balance. They are number one thing in their life is getting ready for whether it's CrossFit games or some sort of fitness competition, even bodybuilders as well. Like they are making so many trade-offs in life to look that way. And for general population, at least the people I work with, we're just trying to be healthier, a little bit more fit. Yeah, lean and tone, but not also miss out on a vacation, not also, bring a scale to a restaurant to measure out our protein intake and shit like that. But it's just very hard to do. And I also like to think about it from the standpoint of like, hey, if you feel like you're lifting too much and you physically see yourself getting bulky, cool, let's change something then. Like, don't make it a problem until it's potentially a problem.
Right.
Um, but, and then obviously, like you said, with the carbs, at the end of the day, like, when it comes to trying to keep things as simple as possible, I don't care if you eat Skittles, dog food, salad, chicken, like whatever. If you're in a calorie deficit, like this is the one thing that helped me,
Mhm.
because I definitely grew up more of a chubbier kid. But
Oh
once
yeah.
someone told me that's like, hey, I don't care what you eat, just eating a calorie deficit, like just manage your calories. I don't care where it comes from. You're gonna lose weight. Now, obviously, like you said, the processed foods, the hyper palatable foods, they're very easy to overconsume. They're
So
hyper, just gets the reward system in your brain going. Like it just leaves you wanting more. I always like to tell a story. Anytime I get like the big ass bag of kettle corn popcorn from Costco, like the family of five that lasts for a month bag, it's gone in 2 or 3 days with me just because I know I'm going to overconsume it. I just have a lack of control when it comes to it, dumbing
I'm
it down
choking
like
you
this.
through the phone.
But like it's just one of those things, personally what works for me is not to have it in my house. Like that's just what works for me. And that
Right.
will allow me to at least manage my calories in that sense. But yeah, a lot of those times when you don't really hear people overeating potatoes or salads or carrots or all these foods that are carbs, but we're not really over consuming them. It's kind of hard to do that because one, they're so satiating, so filling, high in fiber, all these things. Um, so those are a lot of great points, and that's why I try not to label things as good or bad in
No,
this
I love
world.
that you don't. And I think I do that too much. I think that
No,
I label like processed carbs as bad, but you are right. Like sometimes the body can't really tell the difference. I
yeah,
mean, like maybe some aspects, like the chemicals that are in Skittles, you know what I mean? Like
sure,
those aren't all that good for you. But
no,
you're right. At the end of the day, the body is digesting a carb,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, Kevin, I have a question for you.
yeah,
Um, with your with people who follow you slash listen to your podcast, what do you feel like? What state are they in? Are they in like? Is it more like they need help with their mindset? Like, how would you categorize the people that you interact with the most?
yeah. Great question. So the people I personally work with the most and I want to work with is the way I sort of label it is like a yo-yo dieter. They just have
Mhm.
struggled a lot of their life of losing the weight, regaining it, losing it, regaining it. I think most people, 95% of people who struggle with weight loss, it's a mental thing for
Mm.
sure.
Yes.
I always make the joke like I wouldn't have a job if people just took action because most of us know what to do, right? We
Right.
know we need to eat fruits and vegetables, eat protein, move our body, all this stuff. But I like to look at why we're not doing it, like what's causing it. And it could be a mindset thing as far as all or nothing thinking, right? Could be a behavioral thing, as far as, having individuals who grew up with trauma or they're coping with food for some sort of reason, whether it's loneliness, sadness, every time they're stressed because of work, food's always the solution. So actually, again, I tend to say this a lot, but I made a tweet on this yesterday. Is I actually learned this from a guy named Jeb Johnston Stewart. He's a great follow. If you're definitely someone who's either struggling with emotional eating or want to learn more about it, but he talks about how food's always the solution. The problem is actually something deeper,
Mm.
so those deeper problems as far as like think about maybe the wife who's in an abusive relationship, right? So these are obviously extreme examples, but when you're dealing with that and feel stuck, food's the one thing you have control over. And it's one thing that's bringing you that dopamine. Yeah, it's obviously impacting our health goals, but it is the one thing that's always been bringing positivity into your life. So
So do you
exam
go so far to talk to them about their traumas?
Not like in a therapeutic way. It's not like something I can solve. If I have someone who struggles with abandonment because they were abused as a kid or, they were, let's say, cheated on by a spouse or their boss is an asshole, there's something going on there. I can't fix that problem,
You just make
but
them aware of
I
it?
can be understanding of it and I
Mm.
can come up with an adjustment or solution that's like, hey, we have this going on. I a lot of times will recommend therapy, like go talk to a professional just to get this solved. Because as someone, I'm pretty open that I go to therapy and just what it's done for me and in my life. How I usually explain it is like we have these consistent problems in our head and they're just like bouncing around like crazy. They're just like not going anywhere. Therapy allows it to sort of like get out and
Mm.
find a solution or find a way to heal with it. But from my perspective or from my what I do is more behind, all right, you know, explain to them that this was always a positive behavior because they eat and it was always good for them to do it. I don't look at it as a bad behavior. I actually look at it as a good behavior because it was protecting you. It's protecting you from whatever, and it could be simply just stress, like just stress from life itself and not really learning how to handle it. But now, that's your past. We learn from it, grow from it, all that stuff. Um, but now we're at a standpoint where this is impacting your health, which we don't want that to happen. We don't want you to lose your quality of life, have, your mortality like or your longevity get impacted. Like we don't want you to die sooner, deal with health struggles your whole life. So now we do need to make a change. So that's when I like the idea of switching it with something or practicing to switch it with something. So it's like, hey, every time you have a stressful day at work, when you come home before raiding the cabinet, go on like a 20-minute walk for me. Just like try it. Just something to do. It's like a short-term solution to help like decompress and regain control of your emotions. That's why I love the 20-minute rule when someone who really struggles with binge eating. It's like, hey, give yourself permission to binge on whatever you want, but just like wait 20 minutes and go on a walk, take a shower, read a book, like stretch, do something, journal, meditate. I love all those things, but do something. Because a lot of times we're just reactive with those emotions.
Right,
So we feel the emotion, we react. Because also, we don't like discomfort in this world either. In a world of comfort and convenience, right?
right.
We get groceries delivered to our front steps. We can watch all of our episodes of our favorite show on any media streaming service now.
South Park.
We can just get Amazon delivered to our front door, never have to really leave the house. So we live in a world of convenience. So I think we're more and more getting set up to be challenged by these things. So anytime we do feel a little discomfort, we just react right away versus allowing ourselves to feel our emotions.
Right.
And I know you're like big on meditation and doing all these, like you're a pretty spiritual person, which I'd love to talk even more about, but I think there's something to be said as far as the way I sort of look at emotions when because I'm a, you know, as we have our own coaching and whatnot, it's stressful. Like it can be stressful as far as like running a business, building a roster, whatever it may be. But what I try to remind myself each day is some sense of gratitude of how awesome it is to feel these emotions. As weird and like as that sounds, there's not many people who get to be not many people, not many living things that get to be humans like us. I think there's like a 1 in trillion chance to be a human being on this earth.
Lucky.
and it's pretty like you could be a squirrel. Like, not saying a squirrel's life is bad, but, you know, but we get to be these very intelligent species on Earth that can do some pretty incredible things. With that comes all these different emotions. So I try to be thinking in a sense of like, this is beautiful.
It
This is
is.
great. Even with like boredom, I think that's another big one. People just have a hard time being bored. Again,
Uh-huh.
like I was just saying, scrolling, Netflix, all that stuff allows us to just stay distracted. And again, I'll put my hand up, like I'm very, very much guilty of all that stuff as well.
Same.
Don't look at my screen time. It's brutal. I beat everyone, I
You
think.
also work online, like you're on Instagram. You got to know what's going on. I give you that, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I'll stop rambling on.
No, no, no. I loved your ramble. I love that point. I don't think enough people remember that. Like, we don't have to worry about bombs going off. We don't have to worry about war. So
Yeah.
the fact that we can like go inward and just like worry about other things, like it honestly is a blessing in itself.
Yeah, like when you get stressed, here's a question back on you. Like if you're feeling a lot of emotion, like a lot of these like stress, anxiety, overwhelmed, whatever these let's call them like negative emotions. I don't love using that, but not the fun ones at least. Is there anything you do that helps bring you back to at like peace or feel re in control or calm
First,
or whatever?
first, I eat a pint of ice cream.
No, not that. That's not what we're trying
I'm
to
just
teach these
kidding.
people.
I'm kidding.
I'm no,
I
I know.
don't. I tend to completely lose my hunger. So like that's that thankfully for me that's not a thing. Kind of like you said, I have to talk to somebody. I whether it be my sister or my mom or my best
Yeah,
friend, like I have to get it out. I have to hear myself say it. I have to hear the other person say it back to me, and I have to make sure that I'm thinking about it rationally
yeah.
with the people that I trust. Right, that's usually my first line. And then secondly, I have to walk. I have to go outside. I have to get out of the house. And like you said, just like check in with myself and almost like view my thoughts from a third person, like not being in my own head, but like viewing it and like analyzing it in a way that's like more realistic without feeling all the anxiety and overwhelm that my thoughts give me, right? So just
Hmm.
trying to get out of my head. And that I usually am able to do that if I'm moving and I'm outside and I'm in nature and just all the natural beauty around me kind of
Yeah.
snaps me out of whatever I'm going through.
Yeah, for sure. It's so helpful to have like a trusty person to talk with, just to
Absolutely.
get a soundboard. So I think like journaling, like I'm like I have a lot of resistance to journaling, but I've been doing it recently pretty consistently the last 30 days. I like, put a goal every day to do some sort of daily reflection.
Do you talk to it like it's your friend? How do you?
So I usually follow this script as far as like what story is my emotions telling me today, like what's going on in my head. So for example, it might be someone might, be frustrated with how their progress is going. So my emotions are like, Kev, you're just a shitty coach. Like you
Mm,
don't know what the hell you're doing, all this stuff. So I start telling my story of like my emotions are telling me, you're not cut out for this, like all these negative things. And then what I try to do is take a little bit of a breath, calm down a little bit because those emotions will get me going and be like, all right, let's separate emotions with the facts. What are the facts? All right, the facts are I've actually helped hundreds of people at this point. I get, and Mrs. Smith is also saying like she's so impressed with how things are going and couldn't believe how simple this actually process is. Like just try to remind myself of what the facts are of me and my coaching. Because the thing is like, yes, it could be my coaching and also could be maybe they're not doing their part, they're not understanding. Like there could be many different reasons for why they could be frustrated, but it just allows me to separate emotions from facts.
I'm literally going to write that down if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I
So
love you
tell a
separate.
story of your emotions, what they're telling you, then you put up the facts, and then you can recreate the story of like what is the story of the facts now? Like I can help people. I've done this before. I'm really good at what I do. I also really care. So even if I get things wrong, I know I'm gonna try to get it right. I don't know everything, but I'll figure it out, like simple things like that. And then just try to find something I can apply today. But I think one thing you're talking about too, between just like talking with friends and getting outside and appreciating nature, I think a lot of people struggle with being anxious is from also either constantly thinking about the past or constantly worrying about the future. And I think as a society, we have a hard time being present.
Right.
There'll be scenarios where, just like, again, worry about the future of like one day having kids, having a house, like, oh my God, how's this all gonna happen? Which will make it happen. Like, that's always my theory is like, I'll just fucking figure it out. Like, that's always
Hopefully.
been my, my game plan. But, just thinking life's hard or life's tough, all this stuff, it's like, Kev, you live in sunny San Diego right now. You're 3 blocks from the beach. You have great friends here. In this moment, life is amazing.
Yeah.
Life is amazing. So just even taking moments to wake up and have that gratitude with the life we have can be super helpful from just again calming those feelings down. Because again, I think people stress about the non-present, whether it's the past or future.
Facts. Literally put that on a t-shirt, honey.
I need to buy your t-shirts and your hats.
Just hats one day. Take
You had
pictures of them.
outfits for a while, right? The tops and bottom, sweats and
Yeah.
hoodies.
Now just doing hats.
Cool.
Too much work, too much.
Yeah.
But the motto is, hey, you be present. All of this is temporary. Like
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Sometimes we just need a reminder.
Yeah.
Also, I love this exercise. I wrote it down. I'm going to do it.
Oh, good. Keep me updated with it too. Let
I
me know how you
will.
like it.
Also, like when I teach some of the yoga classes, I'm going to prompt them with that. So thank you, Kevin.
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. Because
Yeah, that's
you have an event coming up this weekend, right?
on Friday. We're doing it at Kate Sessions.
Cool. What are those events about?
We do breath work, guided meditation, and yoga. And I mean, kind of like on the topic we're talking about, we get so overwhelmed with the stimulating world we live in. Like
Hmm.
humans weren't built to we're like nothing about social media is natural.
No, not at all.
So it's like trying to mold our brains how we were made, like to the new reality that we face. No wonder so many people are depressed, and no wonder so many people need our help because
Yeah.
their mental state is a reflection of their eating habits and everything. But anyways, we curate a 2 hour event where it's like everything is taken away except for you and your thoughts. And it's so important to reflect on how you are feeling.
Yeah.
Um, it's so easy to distract, social media, like drinking, drugs, sex, all of it. It's so easy
Hmm.
to distract yourself, but you actually like are so out of touch with yourself when you distract yourself.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to go to events to just do the thing that we should do every morning. We should sit with ourselves and meditate 10 minutes, whatever. But
Yeah.
like it's hard to do that sometimes. So at our events, like we just provide space for people to do that, get in tune with their body through meditation, and then take them through a guided, get in tune with their body through yoga, and then we take them through a guided meditation. Every week it's a different topic. This week, I can't even remember what this topic is this week. I think it's about let me read you what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It is healing into wholeness. Somewhere
Okay.
along the way, we forget that we were never broken. We begin to wear our wounds as identities, mistaking healing. This journey is a gentle return to the self that is already whole.
I love that. I
So,
love that.
yeah,
How did you get into all this? Because I know which you went to, where did you go for your yoga retreat?
went to Thailand.
Thailand. That's awesome. It looked
Dude,
awesome.
everyone go to Thailand. It will break you open
Yeah.
in the best possible way. And I just realized it was almost like I'm doing all this coaching for people, like physical coaching, like
Hmm.
they're working out and what they're eating. But like we said earlier, like it is so mental. So
Yeah.
for some people, what they need first is that like emotional and mental healing and to just start implementing these things we're talking about, like yoga and meditation. And then everything else will come.
Yeah.
So after just like going to Thailand and just having a whole month of just doing yoga and meditating every single day, I just couldn't believe how good my mental health was, even though I was going through the hardest breakup of my life. Like it just
Hmm.
goes to show you like you can get through anything, but you have to allow yourself like that time to go in and just like deal with your thoughts, right? Because they're just thoughts.
Yeah. But that's a great point. You got to deal with it. We can't suppress it, right? Obviously, like you were saying before, we use a lot of outlets for that, whether it is food, drugs, alcohol, like over consuming these things, scrolling, porn, like all these things are over consumed, just like pushing things down. That's typically, we push down, we push down, we push down, we use these things until eventually we blow up, we binge eat, we have a bender, like whatever it may be. Have you actually like this reminds me of a book I read. Have you ever read the book? I think you and Dario should probably like this as well. If you're readers, they have it on audio, I believe, too, audiobooks. But it's called Dopamine Nation.
No, but I've heard about this book from multiple people.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's like one of the best books I've read as far as like understanding humans again on why we act and react the way we do. But she uses this example of looking at the seesaw, and on one side there's pleasure, and on one side there's pain. And think of it from a standpoint as like external pleasure and external pain. So a lot of times, if we are on the seesaw and we start to hammer like external pleasure, which is again food, drugs, alcohol, porn, scrolling, like we're giving ourselves dopamine through external pleasure. What happens though is like once we're done with that, the seesaw has to go back the other way to eventually balance out. So we hammer this side, we feel the other side of pain, which is the guilt, the shame, all these emotions from doing that external pleasure. Now
Right.
if we reverse it. Now we do external pain, something as far as strength training, working out,
Mhm.
meal prep, nutrition, like doing these things that aren't the most comfortable, you might have a lot of resistance to, or are like think about like working out in general. Like that doesn't
Sucks.
feel great. Yeah, it's
No, it's
uncomfortable.
hard.
Like the burning of your muscles, the fatigue and all that stuff. But what happens after? We get all that dopamine, all those endorphins. So it's interesting because it talks a lot more of the side of like addicts, and what they'll do is they'll hammer the external pleasure, say like a drug addict. They'll do the drugs, and then the moment they feel that sense of pain, they hammer it again, and they just keep hammering that pleasure side, where now they're relying on it because they can't feel that pain side. They can't deal with the uncomfortable feeling of going through something that's going to be uncomfortable, but bring them pleasure afterwards. So just very
Mind
interesting
blowing.
how dopamine works.
But that's why everyone who goes to the gym is just, I swear, generally happier.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just generally happier. They put themselves through hell every day. I mean, every time I do a leg day, I'm like, why do I do this again? And then I leave the gym, I'm like, oh, I feel fucking amazing.
Sure.
And then
Sure.
everything else in life is easy. If you push yourself because you know it's gonna turn out to give you results, but it sucks while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Literally everything else in your day is easy.
Easy. You get so much more bandwidth in your life if you are training.
Mentally too.
Yeah, for sure.
But like
I
at the beginning, it's it still sucks, but you
yeah.
have to just keep doing it.
Yeah. And especially if you're new to it, one thing for me was this is probably about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I really started to change my drinking habits because I'm not a frat boy, but like I used to party like a frat boy. And not to say I don't go out now, like I'd like to be honest here, but for the most part, there's something that had to change because the afterwards effects that was happening to me mentally was just terrible. Like anxiety was real, depression was hitting stronger than ever. Again, even like, the shift in life of running my own business and everything now, just like those trade-offs weren't worth it anymore.
Right.
Like I didn't feel because there's feelings of less stability with owning a business. Like thinking about like if this just all went away tomorrow, like that's scary as hell.
It is.
Um, but like for me, having to now go to dinner or out to a party and not drink, like the first time sucked. Like it was uncomfortable. Like you just want to fit in. You don't want to deal with people asking you. You don't want people telling you like, "Hey, you're no fun." All these things that happen. But after that, each time sucks a little bit less. Like you just kind of have to do that first time because it sucks the most, but like you just power through it. It's, at the gym, it's like 30 minutes to an hour of your day, just like power through it. And then afterwards, it probably will still suck a little bit, but like it'll suck less in that time and then a little bit less the time after that until eventually it's just sort of second nature.
And you take a little bit of mushrooms.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Woo! Lighten up. But yeah, like it's just one of those things where like just change in general, doing something new is always going to be hard, whether it's something with your career, your health, your relationship, trying new things.
So how often do you drink a month? Like two or three?
Um, it goes in waves. Like the way I plan for it is like special events, I'll drink. Like I'll party.
Wedding,
Yeah,
birthday.
wedding, someone's birthday, 4th of July coming up. There's a bay party
Oh
and
yeah,
one of my other friends. Like I'm gonna drink and have a good time.
right.
Now I manage it a lot more. I'm not trying to like black out or anything. But for the last like 2 weekends, I haven't drank in maybe 2 weeks. Or let me rephrase that. I haven't like gone drunk in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or however long. I actually don't get drunk all that much anymore.
Right.
And not to say again, I don't. It's just more or less like, oh yeah, if everyone's going out, like I'll have a beer.
Yeah.
Like we went to the Padres game like 2 weeks ago. I had 2 beers at the game. Like something harmless, something I know it's like the devil's in the dosage a little bit
Doses.
more. Remix.
Oh,
But but yeah, like I'm not saying I don't drink, but like it's more or less I really have to be intentional about it. And some of the times, like I'll just pick my battles with it and
amen.
understanding like, hey, yeah, 4th of July, the following week, it's like the first couple days are gonna be challenging, but I also like hanging out at the beach and do enjoying going out once in a while. Like it is fun to me, just more or less like the quantity that I'm doing it.
Well, it's crazy because when I was in college, I was drinking like 4 days a week. I was like,
Hmm.
I don't understand how people don't drink. This is so fun.
That's so funny you said that. I remember in college, I went and visited Shannon up at her college, and one of her friends, it was a Saturday night. This is like, when I reflect on it now, I'm like, did I have a problem back then?
Probably just a little bit.
Probably. But I remember one of her friends was like, I'm not going out tonight. I'm like, it's Saturday night. Like, how are you not going out right now? Like, this is crazy. Um,
No,
and,
that's you.
and now I reflect, I'm like, damn, she actually had a lot more self-control than I did and was okay with it. But
And it's
yeah.
so fun not honestly, it's so fun not drinking. Like if I would have heard myself say this 10 years ago, I would have been
Mm.
like, that's not me. That's not
Yeah.
me. But like then when you do drink, it's actually kind of more fun.
Yeah.
Like I dread it. I'm like, oh, I have to drink tomorrow. Like, oh my God. It's
Yeah.
it's it's more fun, but like, dude, drinking all the time, it affects you like 2 or 3 days after.
Yeah.
Like your workouts are horrible. Your hunger cravings are off the charts. You
Yeah.
just want fat, you want salt, you
Yes.
want sweets. It's just like it people think, oh, I'm just hungover one day after. You're like dealing with the repercussions like 2 to 3, maybe 4 days after.
I miss being 21. 21 was the
Me
best
too.
because you'd party and go to the gym the next day and be totally fine. Like you'd
Literally.
crush it. Now you're like, dude, I need a 3-day vacation at
I need
least.
an IV in my arm.
Legit, legit. Um, well, cool. I know we're kind of coming closest to the end here, but I still do have a couple questions. I don't want to take too much of your time
You're
either.
never taking too much time, but remember how I said mushrooms earlier?
Yeah, there you go. Mushroom experience. So talking more on, I actually want to reflect more on maybe there's one client that stands out to you as far as, a success story that really has stuck with you, that inspired you and you really appreciated. Is there any one or anything that comes to mind there as far as one client that just, whether it's a fat loss journey, whether it's a quality of life changed quite a bit? Is there anything there?
Yeah, absolutely. I was training one girl who she had her wedding a year out, so she hired me, and she was, she works at a desk all day. She did not eat healthy at all, and she drank almost every night wine with her dinner. Respect, my
Hmm.
goodness. So, anyways, we totally flipped her life around. We had her working out in the gym 3 times a week. We had her walking 3 times a week. She started tracking her macros, like everything. She was doing everything right for 6 months, and literally nothing changed. Right? Her body fat stayed the same. Maybe the only thing that changed was she got stronger. Right?
Hmm.
Because she was strength training, but nothing changed in 6 months. Her weight was almost exactly the same.
Hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, like I'm taking this girl's money. I've literally pulled every trick that I have. Nothing is working. And then I looked to her hormones because what else do you do at that point? So we looked at her hormones. We discovered she had polycystic ovary. It's PCOS.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
discovered she had that. And after we addressed that, she went to the doctors. They helped her out with her hormone levels. Immediate transformation in like 3 weeks.
Crazy.
She lost like 10 pounds of fat. Like just a crazy transformation. It's almost like everything she was working for.
Hmm.
Boom, once those hormones were dialed in, she was great. So that kind of changed the way I look at my assessments. Like I always include for females, like asking more questions about hormones because
Sure.
if your hormones are off, then like you could do everything right and see no results.
Sure.
So that really stuck out to me. I was like, wow, Jenna, like you really need to just identify that before you give them any sort of fitness or nutrition advice.
Yeah. To even add to that, what's probably obviously this first 6 months, it's tough not to see that progress. But to add to it, it's awesome how dialed in she was still with her habits at that point. That
Yeah,
like once you fix that one thing or create awareness behind it, right?
right,
It like working with some individuals who we discover they have hypothyroidism. It's like, oh shit, like this is awesome to know because now
right,
we can take some medication, go to the doctor, and that can fix a lot of things. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're off in sales. Like you're going to keep doing what you're doing, but this one thing is now going to change. Metabolism is going to be a little bit more natural or faster.
right,
Um, and then all of a sudden, it's just like now it's easy, right? Because they're still doing the same things. We just got this one thing fixed,
right,
and all of a sudden, like things are just flying now. So it's awesome that not that she didn't make progress. Obviously, it was like working her ass off, but like that she had those things in place. And
right.
then obviously, once we found out, or you found out, I was there. Once you found out she had PCOS, it's like, oh, cool. Now we address this. But it's cool for you to even have that for your coaching now, where it's like, oh, this is something I definitely want to pay attention to with more clients, just in case there's something there. Let's catch it earlier so
Right.
we at least know and we can make those adjustments and everything
Yeah,
there.
gosh, I feel for all the women out there who like have no idea, or maybe just
Yeah,
don't even know to look into their hormones.
sure.
That's a whole nother topic that makes me so angry. Like
Mhm.
I wish from middle school, females specifically, had someone to come in, talk to them about their hormones, talk to them about birth control, tell them, hey, like this birth control does this birth control does this,
Sure.
but it doesn't mess up your hormones, you know? So that's just a whole other topic that just makes me angry and the poor women that have to deal with all this shit.
Yeah.
But we don't have to get into that. We won't.
No, yeah. No, maybe another time because I honestly would love to even educate myself more on that stuff, like hormonal health.
Yeah,
Um, so maybe we can do that another time because I can
okay.
start to even hear more passion for you coming up from there. So I know that's something that's
It's
pretty
anger.
but it's so true. And it's same side here where there's so much nonsense fitness information out there as
Right.
far as people probably just trying to sell stuff and make a quick buck
Right.
of, you got to be on this diet or try this or do this detox. I'm just like rolling my eyes because the truth is, in 6 months from now, they're gonna be selling something different and then something different. And then versus for the most part, like our systems will stay the same forever because
Right.
this is what, again, we found, but what I believe is the truth when it comes to, changing your health and everything.
Totally.
But that's such a cool story. Now, if someone was
Yeah.
starting their journey today, their own fat loss journey, what's one thing or a couple of things you think you would tell them as they're just starting off today?
Start small.
Yes.
Start small. If you try to change everything at once, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to fall right back to the beginning.
Hmm.
So change one thing at a time. Like if it's, let's say your diet, right? Just try to have a good breakfast.
Yeah.
Try to get 20 to 30 grams of protein in your breakfast. That's your goal. Once that becomes second nature, then maybe start looking at lunch and your snacks. But like taking it small, being patient with yourself, asking for help,
Hmm.
understanding that you're not going to see results in 1 month. Like
Hmm.
it's going to take 3 to 6 months to see actual change.
Yeah.
And that's if you're staying consistent, right? So just
Yeah.
be patient with yourself. If it comes off fast, it's going to come back on.
Sure.
So it needs to be more of a lifestyle change rather than just a quick acute change. And that's
Yes.
where you come in. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But so true. It's if you shift that perspective of we're doing this forever, you don't really need, not that you don't feel, because a lot of people want to hit the ground running, want to make progress by tomorrow. But literally, if you think about, hey, if we did a year, we took a year to change it, some crazy stuff could happen, like some really good, amazing things. But if you try to do what we're going to try and do in a year and the next month, you're going to be back at square one by the end of the year.
Right.
And it's just going to be more of a challenge. But if we do one little change at a time, which I always like to emphasize this too, that is going to make you progress. If we're making progress with your habits and behaviors little by little, like it's better than what you were doing yesterday, right? And if we're consistent with that, yeah, it's not going to be 10 pounds off in a week, but maybe it's a pound a week, pound, a couple pounds every month.
Right.
But you take, you lose a pound a week for a year, that's 52 pounds in a year. Imagine your life being down 52 pounds, 2 years, 104 pounds.
Yeah.
And not only that, like it's a staple in your life. You're so much more confident with your abilities to take care of your shit that you get to go live happily ever after. Because you have the confidence knowing what you need to do, but
Right.
also found that balance we talked about earlier of enjoying life as well.
Right. But people don't know how to be patient for two
Yeah.
years of growth, which is the frustrating part. But you hear it everywhere. Just be
Yeah.
patient. It will happen.
Yeah.
Something you said made me want to say something else, but I can't remember what it was now.
It's
It was,
okay.
oh, my last piece of advice
Yes.
is one, if I could redo it, I honestly would have hired someone in the beginning to lay it out for me because I was taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back for like 3 years
Yeah.
until I actually learned what I was doing. But if I had someone to tell me my macros, like my nutrition goals, and then also like what I should be doing in the gym, I wouldn't have to just like trial and error and waste so much time, which,
Yeah.
obviously I learned, but like I wish that I could have had someone lay it out. Also use ChatGPT. Like
Hell yeah.
use ChatGPT for your nutrition. If you don't know what to eat, literally tell ChatGPT, this is how much I weigh, this is how much I work out. I'm sedentary during the day for my job. My goal is to lean out but keep my muscle. What should I eat? Literally, ChatGPT will lay it all out for you. You can tell it what you like, you can tell it what you don't like. If you can't afford a coach like me or Kevin, use ChatGPT.
Chat GPT. I can't even say it. No, for sure. I love that because it will give you at least some ideas, at least some suggestions, right? Because I think that's where a lot of it we overthink it, we don't know what to do. It's like you kind of need someone to make decisions for you right now, right? Honestly, I have a coach that writes my programs. Like, I don't want to think about that shit. And if I had to write my own programs, I'm doing fucking arms every other day. Like, that's just what it is. I'm deadlifting, maxing out, at least twice a week.
You
But
do that
like,
with
just
a lot.
yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't, huh?
What's your max deadlift?
My max ever
I
is
don't know.
565, but
That's stupid.
I
That's
don't, I
dumb.
don't, I don't max out that much
I
anymore.
know, but that's crazy. Like you're
Yeah.
Kevin's strong. He came in to work out at my gym the other day. And I was like, damn, boy, he's built.
Yeah, yeah, I just love it. I love it. I feel very lucky to have such enjoyment out of my training. Um,
We're
it's
blessed.
just where I feel blessed as well. But there's obviously things that I don't find enjoyment out of, and I need to do as well.
Like legs.
Um, what's that?
Like hitting legs.
Like hitting legs. No, I love legs, but more like, it's even like to relate to clients. I always like to make the joke of vegetables and mobility are the same thing to me. I know I need them both, but like they're tough. But you just also have to be an adult sometimes and like take care of your shit. Like that's the other side. It's like we're very much cheerleaders, but the tough love is like, take care of your shit too. Because there's whether it's people relying on you, like coworkers, family, kids, all this stuff, like be an adult sometimes and take care of your shit.
No.
Um,
Amen.
amen. But here's my last question.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be non-fitness related, by the way.
Okay.
But I want you to imagine you're walking down the street
Oh.
and you pass little Jenna,
Mhm.
like little baby Jenna. I don't care how old it is, how old it is, how old she is. She is a
It's
thing. What's like a piece of advice you'd give her, like your younger self?
that's fucking heavy. If I could give my younger self a piece of advice, like who you are and how you want to act, like just be unapologetically you all the time. Because if one person doesn't like it, 100 people will. And
Hmm.
like, don't let that one person like make you dim your light. And I think that as I've gotten older, I've really, like you said earlier in the conversation, like I just am my absolute self everywhere, even on social media.
Yeah,
I think that when I wasn't doing that, I think I was unhappy. And the older I've gotten, the more comfortable I've just been with that. So if I could tell myself something, it would be along the lines of that.
I love that. I love it. And I love that you today have taken that advice
Ah,
because, like I said, opening up this thing, I feel so blessed to know you. And
oh,
I feel so grateful to be at least involved in your life and you're involved in mine
I feel the same.
because I don't think, I think there's, I don't want to come off negative, but it's just, you don't see fully authentic people just being themselves with that like confident fucking mentality where it's like, if you don't like who I am, that's okay. I'm just not your person. But
Right.
like, I think that's why so many people like you though, because you just are very confident, very authentic, just totally you. It's just, it's so refreshing and so nice just to have a connection with, um, knowing like you get to be your full self because it's I think sometimes we get caught up in all the noise of again social media and trying to impress the keep up with the Joneses mentality,
Right.
but it's so miserable living that way
Uh,
because like you're so dishonest with yourself, you're so trapped in yourself, but to live a way where it's just like I'm me and that's who I am and I'm always gonna be me is just
right.
awesome. So
Like you have 100 years to live.
yeah.
If you're trying to be someone else and not like doing what actually makes you happy, like when you have the best belly laughs, it's because you're being an idiot. You're being
Yes.
like those, and those are like the best moments. And so to like rob yourself of those moments because you want to act cool or whatever, it's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think why you love someone so much, like I think about this with Shannon, it's like let's call them the flaws are why I'm like fucking obsessed with you and why I love you because it just is something that makes me laugh or brings joy in my life. It's, all these things where we're trying to be perfect and again keep up with the Jones. It's like those aren't the reasons why I love you. It's just one of those things when we can see that side of you that isn't perfect and it has flaws and is, got the scars and whatnot. It's like that's why I love you. Like
Amen.
all that stuff. So, Jenna, how can people find you? Get in contact with
I was gonna say something stupid.
you. Say it. Unfiltered podcast.
People can people can find me dumpster diving over a period, dude.
Let's go, dude. Dumpster dive life.
No, no, I don't dumpster dive every day. But anyways, I have an Instagram. My Instagram handle is I don't even know, let me look. My Instagram handle is Jenna, Jenna underscore Geee. That's four E's. And if you
40s.
want to see some double chins, some maybe some nutrition advice, throw me a follow.
I love it. I love it. And also, like, quick shout out for anyone who's listening in the San Diego area. You have a meal prep company, right?
Yes, occasionally. We do
Okay.
pop up.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Yes.
How can they find that if whenever it
Yep.
pops up?
They can just go to my Instagram when we do it. We post about it. It's called Nourish and Flourish. We shop at Sprouts. Everything is like homemade grandma's recipe, made with a lot of love, a lot of care, and also macro friendly. Duh.
Love it.
But yeah, we do
Cool.
that probably like twice a month. So
Sweet.
stay
I
tuned.
love it.
Thank you, Kevin. You're so sweet.
Of course. Well, Jenna, like I said, like thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate you. I love you so much, and I know we'll get together soon now that Haley's back in town.
Not on
Let
Haley.
let's go. But no, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the podcast today.
Flew by.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys for listening. Please, as always, go eat the damn donut, enjoy life, and we will talk soon. Cheers.